Welcome to your tutorial on the Nikon Z30 camera. As always, timestamps are listed below. This tutorial is for my fellow video content creators who may not have a background in photography or videography. Maybe this is the first camera that you've ever bought, and all you're looking for is a simple, easy to follow video to help you get started. A video that won't use terms that you don't know so that you don't get confused or feel overwhelmed. We are keeping it simple today so that you can get your camera set up and feel confident enough to just grab and go. Now, if you're a professional photographer, videographer, or filmmaker who's watching this, while this is a fantastic camera option for you, this tutorial might not be. Because I'm not gonna be talking about like spec details like the sensor size, shutter speed, number of focus points, f-stop. I'm not gonna be talking about that, but I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in spec details. This is how today's video will be broken down. First, we're gonna talk about why choose the Nikon Z30 as a content creator in general. Is this camera going to be the right fit for you and what you're looking for? Then we're going to dive into camera settings and how to set up your camera. When we get to the settings part, there will be 3 sections. These sections are organized by level of comfortability with the camera. So we'll start with like beginner settings, intermediate settings, and then advanced. All right, what is the Nikon Z30? Who is it for? And is it going to be a good fit for you? This is Nikon's camera that was literally designed specifically for content creators. They took feedback from their audience to create this beauty right here. We have creators like Catherine Manning, Aaron on Demand, Brittany Lupton, and Jordan Payton who all use and love this camera. This camera is optimized for vlogging with the flip out screen, which is also a touch screen. This way you're able to see your shot, see if you're in frame, and it just helps a ton when filming or vlogging. One of my favorite features when you are filming, there is a record light that illuminates on the front of the camera so that you could see that you're recording, and this will start flashing when you're low on battery. This camera can record up to 125 minutes continuously with no interruptions, which is fantastic for talking head videos like this, where I'm just like sitting in front of my camera. It comes in super handy. I got the Nikon Creator Kit. So in the Creator Kit, it comes with this lens right here. So this lens can come off. The body does allow you to have interchangeable lens options. The default lens that the Creator Kit came with is the Nikkor 16 to 50 millimeter. Basically what that means is you could get super wide shots for vlogging and really good close-up shots. This is with the lens attached to it, obviously, but when you are on the go and you want something to fit in your camera bag, this lens is collapsible, so if I just keep twisting, it falls into place just like that. You can buy the camera body and kit lens together. Right now it is $6.99, or you can invest in the full creator kit, which right now is $7.49. And I'm actually posting a tutorial for teaching you how to put together everything that's in the creator kit as a bonus video. So go check that out after this video if it's live. When the lens and camera are combined, it remains lightweight so that when you're vlogging, your arm doesn't collapse or fall off. This is probably the most lightweight camera that I've ever owned. It's super lightweight. I love it. Who is this camera for? I'd recommend this camera to any content creator. Whether you're doing vlogs, talking head videos like this one, having a camera like this can really take your video quality up to the next level. Even if you're a UGC creator, this camera would be amazing to ensure that the content that you're creating for a brand is top-notch and the best quality possible. Let me tell you why it's the right fit for me, and if you're somebody that can relate to this, it'll probably be the right fit for you. So I'm currently filming on the Nikon Z30. I tried it out for a few months and I ended up falling in love with it because this is the 4th camera that I've tried and used to create content on my channel, and it is the only one that I'm not scared of, which I know sounds really weird, but let me explain. So my husband, he's a videographer. He's had his own production company, and for the past few years, every time I go to film a video, I would need his help. I'd be like, babe, can you come help me? I'm not somebody who has a background in video or photo. Camera gear often confuses the heck out of me, and I usually get super intimidated, especially with cameras that I've had in the past. Almost overwhelmed to the point where like, I don't want to film. I don't want to create. I had no desire to vlog because I felt like I would mess something up. I would screw it up if I tried to use a camera on my own. This is the first camera I've owned that feels approachable for me. As a content creator, it's easy to understand. I don't get overwhelmed. I actually want to vlog now and I get excited to create. I thought I didn't like vlogging before, but I think I just didn't like having to use my other camera. But now I'm like, oh, maybe I should start a second channel because I can't stop thinking about videos that I could make because I have a camera that I finally understand. So with that being said, if you relate to any of that, maybe this is the perfect fit for you. Now, let's get out our cameras, talk camera settings. While I am filming with a Z30 right now, I do have this brand new one kindly sent to me from Nikon, who's sponsoring this video, so that I can show you the settings up close and personal, starting with the basics. These are the grab and go settings. If you're somebody who does feel overwhelmed with camera gear, all you have to do is make these few adjustments and you'll be good to go. Fresh out of the box, you want to set up your camera. So we're gonna choose our language, choose our time zone, choose your date format. I like month, day, year, daylight savings, plug in our date. Okay, done. Once you have the date and everything set up, now we're going to adjust some basic camera settings so that you can get your camera ready to grab and go. We're gonna press the menu button right here. And you're going to go to the left so that you're toggling on this sidebar right here. We want to go to the video record menu. First thing we are going to adjust here, we're going to go down to frame size and frame rate. Select. You are going to choose 1920 by 1080, 30p. This is basically the pixel count of the camera and how many frames you're capturing per second when filming. While you can tell up top, the camera can do 4K image quality, we're going to select the one right here. This is the same pixel size across all platforms, so this is going to be good for you to record anything, YouTube videos, TikToks, Reels. It's going to work for all platforms, and it's just a classic setting for if you're just doing like casual vlogging. You're not worrying about any like slow-mo effects. You're not going to be doing any like slow-mo shots in your vlogs. Going down, make sure video quality is on high. We're gonna keep scrolling to focus mode. Make sure that is on full-time autofocus. AF area mode. I like to make sure this is selected for the people, autofocusing and detecting people in the shot. Down to vibration reduction, make sure that is on. This is going to help with stabilization. If you're shaking your camera during your shot, it's gonna make those video clips a little bit more stable. Microphone sensitivity, make sure that is on auto. And those are all the settings we're going to adjust on the video record menu. We're gonna go left and we're gonna make a few more switches. Let's go down to the pencil, the custom settings menu. Now I'm somebody, when I'm filming, I want this button, the shutter button, to actually record for me. So right now, if you want to film or record, you have to press this button here. I like when I'm filming to be able to use the shutter button to start and stop my video. Right now, if you press the shutter button, it's going to take a picture. So we're gonna change the settings so that this button will start and stop videos for you. So in your menu, we are on the custom settings menu, the pencil on the left-hand side. Click right, scroll down to video. We're gonna select custom controls. And then down here where the shutter release button option is, you see how it says take photos? We're gonna click that and make sure it's on record video. All right, now, before you start filming, let's open our lens. Make sure this toggle here is switched to the video record option. You absolutely can leave this on auto. I know everybody's like, don't leave it on auto. Leave it on auto. Leave it on auto. Your phone shoots on auto. It is going to be fine. You're gonna have a grand old time. You won't have to think about anything. Leave it on auto. it's gonna be great. And then if you're somebody before you film, you're a little overwhelmed with like all of the settings that are showing on this display and you're like, that's a lot going on. I don't love that. This button right here where it says DISP, display, if you click that, it'll make everything disappear. It's a little bit less overwhelming that way. Now, if you've learned something new so far or you're enjoying this video, I'd love if you could give this video a like because it increases the chances that someone like you could come across it. And if you've learned 2 new things by the end of this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel because it's a free way to support my business so that I can continue to make free content like this for you every week. We went over our beginner settings. You're good to go. You can grab your camera, film whenever, and start creating. Now, if you're ready, you want a little challenge, you want to make a little more customizations with your camera, here are your intermediate camera settings that you could try. Now let's talk about the intermediate camera settings. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to switch this over to manual. That's the M, manual shoot mode. Here is where you have more customizations and control over what you're shooting. Here, you want to get familiar with the I menu, so press I, and these are all of like your go-to settings that you can control when you're shooting in manual. As you scroll through, you'll notice that you're already familiar with some, and some might sound new to you. So familiarity-wise, we've already done our frame size and rate, area, autofocus, focus mode, vibration reduction, microphone sensitivity. So we have a few that we're familiar with and a few that are new to us. Now, the cool thing with the I menu is that this is completely customizable. You don't have to keep all of the options that you see here. So if there's some that you have no idea what they are, like electronic VR, what the heck is that? If you don't want to see that because it's overwhelming to you or you don't use it, then you can actually change all the options that are here on this I menu to things that you're more familiar with or that you think you would be needing to change more when you're filming. So here's a little hack that I like to do when I first get my camera. I want to make my own custom I menu, one that I'm comfortable with, that I feel like I know terminology for. So I'm just gonna write down what the default one is so that I can feel more comfortable when I make these changes. So I'm literally going to draw the I menu on a piece of paper so that I can remember it in the future. And then I'm going through and I'm gonna be like, okay, set picture control, that's in the top left. So I'm gonna put set pic control here. I'm just going through and adding them all so that if I change it and want to go back to the default, I have it all here. So for me, I want to keep this one because we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I want to keep this one. Wind reduction is good to have there. Wi-Fi if you're going to connect your phone to your camera to share images. I have another video that teaches you how to do that. We're gonna keep the autofocus, we're gonna keep focus mode, we're gonna keep the microphone and white balance, and this one. You could change this one, but I'll probably keep it here. Now we're going to see what other options are to swap these out. So I'm going to go to the menu. We're going to go here where it says custom settings menu to the right, go down to video, customize iMenu. And now this is what your current iMenu looks like. We're going to swap some out. So the one that I want to swap out is electronic VR. So this is the first one that I want to swap out. I'm just going to select, and right now we're just gonna scroll and see if there's anything that we recognize that we maybe wanna add. So maybe you have ones that you're more familiar with that would feel a little bit more comfortable adding to this iMenu. And all the ones that I'm thinking about adding, I'm going to write them down on my piece of paper. I'm gonna write down exposure, maybe ISO. We already have microphone sensitivity. We already have wind noise reduction. Maybe brightness would be one I'd be interested in adding. Wi-Fi, wireless remote connection. In the Nikon Creator Kit, there is a wireless remote option. So if that's something that you're using often, you could add that to your default menu. But I think for me, these are the three that I'll swap out. So I think right now we're currently on the electronic VR. So I want that one to be my brightness. Vibration reduction, we already have that set, so I'm good to swap it out. We're gonna have this one be exposure, and then metering, we're gonna swap that out, and it's gonna be our ISO. So this is now my new iMenu. So you can customize this iMenu to your liking with terminology that you feel a little bit more comfortable with. Now that you have a menu that feels custom to you when you're shooting on manual mode, we're going to move to our advanced section. Here we're going to talk about a few things to pay attention to when you're on manual mode, like your white balance or your audio levels, because the last thing you want is to blow out your viewers' ears on accident when filming or find out afterwards the audio wasn't working. First, let's talk about white balance. If you've been filming in auto mode for a few weeks and then you notice when you're editing clips that like one shot, the tones are very warm and yellowy, and then the next shot, they're a little more cool toned, that's because of the white balance. So this is how you can have more control over that. All right, now that we're talking about some advanced camera settings, we are going to be adjusting and paying attention to the whites that are being picked up in frame right now. So I don't know if you could tell here, but this looks a little bit more green than just the shot right here. These whites look true white. So I want to make some adjustments so that the whites appear to be true white in my camera. We are going to open our iMenu, and the two options that we could play with is set picture control and white balance. With the picture control, this is kind of like your filters that come with the camera. So if we swap over, you could see slightly that you can kind of tell that the colors on my camera are changing a little bit. With these filters, you get to pick what you like the best. I usually leave it on auto, but I had mentioned Catherine Manning earlier in this video. I believe she shoots on standard. I like auto, and I also like neutral. And then we're going to go down to white balance, select white balance. You can leave it on auto, but if you notice it's still not picking up true whites, go to the right and just play with all of these. So to play with them, you're gonna press down and then just like toggle back and forth between all the options. Press OK if you like something. Direct sunlight. These are all the different white options. So that one's obviously too yellow, way too orange, very blue, very purple. And here I like to do choose color temperature. So this is where you have the most control. Press down, and now you could adjust the coloring here. So mine looks a little bit yellow, so I'm going to bring this down to maybe like 4. Definitely too blue, so let's do like 490 maybe. 490. 480 until it looks a little more white. Ooh, 470 looks a little bit better. And then if you notice like you have green tints on your white, you could balance it out by going down to like the pinks. Now it's looking more white. Okay, perfect. When you have a setting that you like, press OK. It'll save it. And now, as you could tell, my white balance is a lot more white than it was before. The thing with white balance is that it's always going to change depending on the time of day, your location. So if it's cloudy, if it's sunny, indoors, outdoors. But if you have a default space, let's say I'm always shooting right here and I make my white balance changes, I can automatically save that as a default user setting up here. So we have U1, U2, and U3, and I could save all of my default setting options. To do that, we are going to go to our menu, left, go down to the wrench. This is your setup menu. We're going to go down to save user settings. And then you could choose whether to save those settings onto setting 1, setting 2, or setting 3. You could do user 1 setting as like your default indoor vlog setting. Maybe U2 is your default outdoor setting. And then U3 you could leave open, or if you have a third place that you're always filming, add another setting there. This way it makes it even more easier for you to grab and go because you have each of your custom settings saved on 1, 2, and 3 options. Next, let's talk about audio levels. When filming, I want to see on the flip out screen my audio levels. I want to know that they're working. I want to know that I'm not being too loud. But right now, the default settings, when you flip out your screen, those audio levels go away. So we want to add them back onto our screen. This is how you do that. As you can see, the audio levels are moving here, but once it's flipped out, it's not showing those audio levels anymore. So if I had a microphone plugged in, I wouldn't be able to tell if the camera is picking up on the microphone audio levels. So I want to be able to see that when I'm vlogging. To turn that setting on, we're going to go back to our menu. Staying here on the wrench for the setup menu, scroll down until you see the self-portrait option. Select, and we're going to select disable. So now, when we're talking, it's flipped out. We could still see those audio levels, and now we'll be able to tell if our microphone or our voice is being picked up when we're filming. All right, so in our eye setting, we have the microphone sensitivity. If you have a microphone plugged into this camera and you notice with it plugged in, the audio levels are reaching this yellow zone, we wanna change that so we don't blow out our viewers' ears. So we're gonna go to the eye menu, select microphone sensitivity. Right now it's on auto. To change how much volume is being picked up with your mic, you're just gonna go to the right. So right now, if I go right, it's gonna say microphone off. And gradually as I go to the right, it's gonna pick up more and more volume from my voice. So the more I go right, you see those audio levels are gradually getting higher and higher. And when you're doing this and you're adjusting this, I like to do this in like the vlog settings. So I'll have this screen flipped towards me so that I could look at the audio levels while the camera is facing me, because this is how I'm vlogging and I want to see what those audio levels look like while I'm vlogging. So I am making these changes here while the camera is facing me. Those are your camera settings. Of course, there are so many other things that we could be talking about, like shutter speed, frame rate, your ISO, but I want to keep this tutorial as simple as possible so that you could just set up your camera into like grab and go mode. If you don't already have a Nikon Z30, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'll leave a link pinned down below where you can go grab your own. And if you want to get the creator kit, be sure to watch this video next where I show you a tutorial for how to set everything up: tripod, mic, Bluetooth remote. If you've made it to this point, be sure to comment the secret emoji when leaving your comment down below. Thank you so much, Nikon, for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.